Tuned in to Guardian Radio, your source for Destiny news, tips, and chatter. Sit back, relax, and embrace your destiny.
Welcome everyone to Guardian Radio, the first and longest running Destiny podcast on the net. I am your host, Mark Turcotte, and joining me this week, as always, my morning fire team brother, K-Dub. K-Dub, what's up, man?
What's up, everybody, man? We've got some interesting stuff to talk about. Shawnee and I have been doing the little stream when the TWAB rolls out, and it's been kind of fun. And a lot of good info. Look, we've always said, and we've had discussions with all the people at Bungie, from Deej to everybody, and they always listen really, really well. Whether you think they do or they don't, they do, and they do their best. And I got some really positive vibes, and I feel good about it. So looking forward to talking about this stuff.
Yes.
The most transparent this week at Bungie, up front.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is what you're getting. This is what you expect, because I think they learned a lesson from faction rallies. You know?
Definitely. That voice right there, of course, our King of Queens, Mesa Sean. Sean, what's up, dude?
What's going on, guys? Doing well. Just did Prestige Leviathan, because we're going to be doing a big stream tomorrow with WTF Game Nation, and we'll be giving away a Scuff Impact controller. And we're only doing Prestige from now on because we get double drops. So
no,
does it look like that one? You like that?
Is that the Impact?
Yes. Like that, something like that. I only have 3 paddles on mine. I took one off.
Oh, okay.
Remember how slow that Sparrow went?
Yes, that's freaking Sparrow.
But yeah, so we did Prestige. We're excited to see these raid mods and see how they're going to work out and stuff like that. And we might even run a raid lair or something too afterwards. But I stream right here on YouTube, guys. So Mesa Sean on YouTube. We'll be streaming it live tomorrow, because there's going to be maintenance for a couple of hours until I think 3 p.m. Eastern.
Yep.
But sometimes they get done with those things early, so we might go live around like 2 p.m. or something like that.
Usually does, yeah.
Really looking forward to it. Really,
man. Well, what's up, everybody here? Thank you here for joining us, as always. What's up to everybody over on Twitch, twitch.tv/Guardian Radio. We do the show live on Monday nights. Please, like I've said before, we usually try to do it at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, but the way our schedules have been lately, it's kind of all over the place. So follow us on Twitter at Guardians of D. It's the best way to know when we're going to go live. And of course, just we
go live whenever Mark is done selling drugs.
That's right. That's pretty much what
the street pharmacist.
Yep. So follow us over there, and big thank you to everybody tuning in over on Sean's YouTube channel, youtube.com/Mesa Sean. You can find the video over there. See our ugly mugs up there. It's a great way to see us. And quick plug here. We haven't plugged this on the show for a while, but I am going to have it in the show notes. Is if you want to help support the show, you can help support us through Podbean. We have a Patreon over on podbean.com. You can find it, Guardian Radio over there. $1 gets you listed on our Wall of Guardians on our website. $5 gets you listed there, as well as access to EBD Radio, which is an extra podcast we do every month, where we talk about everything but Destiny, and all those questions are fueled by you guys. And if you want to have your question read on that show, email us and just make sure to put in the subject line EBD, which we actually have already received some for this upcoming show, and email that feedback@theguardiansofdestiny.com. And of course, that's
where
Byte
shows up, by the way.
The emails, yeah. Hopefully Byte will show up for that one, right? But then you can also see the video of that, and that's $7. So again, podbean.com/Guardian Radio. You can find it. And again, it's on the show notes. It's on our site if you want to help support the show. And big thank you to everyone who has continued to support the show. It's because of you guys the show continues on, and that's why we're going to Guardian Con. That's why we're going to have a booth again. That's why we're going to meet so many of you. And it's an absolute blast doing that. So again, thank you guys.
I got to say real quick on that thought. All we do all the time, we have a little text chat, the three of us, and we're always talking about what do we want to bring and give away at the booth.
Oh yeah,
Sean's got some amazing ideas.
I got some really cool stuff. Yeah,
we've got a lot of ideas going, so hopefully we get to see as many of you as possible at Guardian Con. It's gonna be a blast.
One I'll tease out might be a sealed PlayStation 4 Destiny 2 Collector's Edition, sealed with all the doodads and everything.
Doodads.
I took mine apart and put it on my little shrine over here. Lots of cool stuff in there, especially if you like the raid. A lot of cool raid stuff in there.
Slade, we're aware that Ed's not going to be able to make it, so we may have to give a trophy to a different Guardian this year.
We have a new MVG this year?
I don't know. I mean,
no, we're gonna.
Or is it just gonna be one of those things? We're sorry, Ed couldn't
Ed
be here this year. We're gonna accept this on his behalf. Right?
Yeah, it's gonna be every year. It's gonna be that.
I think we'll have to Skype in with our phones to Ed at some point. If Ed can put Skype on his phone,
that's right.
Something.
Skype in with him, like Ed.
Yep. But all right, guys, let's move on here. We have a ton to talk about. This week at Bungie was huge this week, and a lot of positivity in the community, I think, moving forward with it. So let's move on here to our news segment that we call Dispatches from the Traveler. All right. Well, Cosmo is back at the helm, and this week at Bungie deployed. And Bungie, I think, Sean, you said it. This is almost the most transparent I think they've been in a long time. They gave us the roadmap for basically just the next week.
Yeah.
And even went as far as to even say, hey, we know there's a bug. We're just telling you now to let you know rather than have everybody, kind of see it at launch. So where do we want to start? Do we want to start with the Masterwork armor? Because we did get some details. I think on these. And one of the big questions everybody had is how is it going to work? We knew that we were going to be able to stay within our supers for a little bit longer, but now we have the exact data on how that's going to work. And basically each armor piece is going to grant 3% damage resistance while using your super that can stack up to 15%. Across a full set. And you can also rework those to a different stat package. So heavy, light, or restorative for 1 Masterwork core and 10 legendary shards. Now, they also said, what, if you wanted to convert a piece of armor into the Masterwork armor, it was what, 20?
No, 5 Masterwork cores and I think 20 legendary shards.
Right, yeah.
Dylan had tweeted that out, DMG04 on over on Twitter from Bungie. Yeah.
What do you guys think? I mean, we now have confirmation that you can now have a full set and get 15%.
So for me, I think in raid and PvE activities, and everyone's like, dude, I never get killed in my super. Bullshit.
Oh crap, dude.
When it comes to
you can get wrecked in your super now.
Clearing the throne room, if I'm on ad control, all right, granted, Arcstrider is going to tear everything up, but in prestige activities, you get lit up like a Christmas tree when you're in your super.
Yep.
So that's one benefit. The other thing is, how's it going to play out for the supers that aren't roaming? Because obviously this benefits roaming supers, right? How's it going to benefit Night Stalker, Void Walker, Golden Gun? I think it's going to benefit them as well. You know how many gunslingers I waste in PvP because they pop their Golden Gun? Just like I'm laying into them as they're popping it.
That's dumb. Well, that just means they don't know what they're doing. You never pop Golden Gun when you're not behind a wall.
Yeah, no,
you
I know.
always pop it and then go out. If you pop it and you're in the middle of people, then you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah. But someone did tweet at Christopher Barrett asking about that, and it says that's something that we're looking into because they were also asking Chris about making supers maybe a little bit more powerful through Masterworks. But it should be interesting how it's going to pan out for PvE and like for PvP. I think this is a stepping stone because they're testing the waters with raid perks and Masterwork armor. It wouldn't surprise me. We're going to get into raid perks, but it would not surprise me if we see down the road a Crucible set of perks, right? A overall PvE non-raid set of perks or mods or something like that. You know what I mean? I was thinking about it like back in PvP. My PvP loadout was always, all right, if I'm playing skirmish, I need to have Angel of Mercy on my helmet. I need to have increased melee attack speed for my gloves, extra heavy for my boots, extra sniper ammo for my chest piece and all that sort of stuff. It would not surprise me if they're testing the waters with raid perks, Masterworks armor, and then move into something like for Crucible and Trials and Iron Banner people can grind for mods that are going to make you more powerful or a better player. Well, not a better player, but, give us some of those perks back that we really liked in Destiny 1 that helped us in the Crucible, I think.
Right. Well, I think them testing the water, Sean, I mean, I think that's kind of been their plan. I mean, 15%, I know you see a lot of people saying, 15%. Like you said, people are like, I'm not getting killed in my super. Well, they try 15%.
You are if I'm shooting you.
But if they notice that that's not enough, like when they see, okay, what's the percentage of people getting the full set, number one? Because, maybe not everybody's going to get a full set of Masterwork armor. It's going to take a long grind. And maybe they say, okay, well, only a small percentage of the player base has that. Maybe we need to buff the amount each piece gets, which honestly, it's not going to surprise me if that's what they do. If they say, all right, well, let's bump it up maybe to 5 or to 6. And then when you get the full set, it gives you more. So then it really, truly matters at that point, right? Because 15% is a little bit, and I mean, that's kind of almost what I just expected for the one piece. And I didn't even think they were going to make it stack. I thought it was just going to be like, hey, you got one, you got it.
No, they're trying to give you the carrot.
Yeah.
We're trying to give you
Get
the
a full
carrot.
set of Masterwork.
What's
Yeah. 5
So
carrot.
if 15% may not be enough, so when they say, hey, well, maybe that carrot's not enough, let's
That
up it
is.
to 6
I
a
think
bit.
that is enough,
And
though.
then
I think
it'll be
that is.
30% at that point, man.
Well, think about it this way. So if we think about it from the standpoint of power matters, right?
Yep.
And I'm 350 versus somebody that's 335, and then I know that's not percent, that's points, and I get it. But that 15 points, or that little bit of a difference, makes a difference to me.
Yeah.
If I know I'm going to go in power matters at 350 and everybody else is, or the majority of other people at 335, I'm going to pwn you. I mean, I really will. Like
You know what? The one-on-one, yes.
Yeah, well,
Team
of course,
shot, no.
of course.
So that's where, like, if they upped it where it was 30-40%, it's like,
still,
team shot me, bro. Like, you don't have that armor. My power now matters and taking you both down. Think of how many instances you're 2-on-1. You take one guy out, but because they had the beat on you, you're dead. Like,
Yeah.
well, but no. So let's say you've got 15%, and you do flank, and you get the jump on one of them. You can take him down, and then by the time that they're realizing that you're on them, the other guy starts shooting you. You've taken one down. You've taken some shots. It might be enough that if you're skilled enough, that 15% lets you win a 1v2.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think the way the Crucible with team shouting right now, I don't think 15's enough, man. I think which hey,
not if they both have not if they know you're coming. No, but if you get the jump on one of them, maybe I think.
Yeah. You know what? I'll do some in-depth testing on the Leviathan with it, where I'll put the set on and I'll take the set off. I'll have the same thing, resilient. I'll find 2 armors because I have like 50 or 60 Masterwork.
Well, when's custom matches come? Not till the February update, right?
Yeah, that's not going to come in February, but I mean, I'll test it from a PvE perspective where I go on the front of the Leviathan where all the yellow bars are. I'll see how quickly it takes them to kill me in my Storm Trans without the armor, and then see how quickly it takes them to kill me with it on, and see if it really makes a difference. I think 50%, it's not going to be game-changing, life-altering. I think it's going to help out a little bit, you know?
I think it levels the playing field for people who either A, aren't the high-level PvP person, or B, it gives the person that does grind and still play this game an advantage, which is what we've been asking for. All the hardcores have been saying, hey, I put all this time and effort into this game, I should have an advantage. Yeah. This is an advantage. It's 15%, but it's an advantage. Yep. So, I think
the one thing I do hope, and they don't mention it in here at all, is I hope they, and again, you always got to be careful what you ask for. I hope they increase the drop rate just a little bit of the armor work. So I hope it's a little bit, or the Masterwork. I hope it's a little bit more than the weapons work, because it didn't seem like those were dropping enough. And again, you got to be careful what you ask for, because the reason Destiny 2 is the way it is, because we said like, oh, we need more drops, we need this, and then they just said, who cares, and just gave us everything, and then it kind of broke the game. So we don't want too much. But maybe you should be guaranteed. I mean, I don't know. I don't think he said it, but in the raid, like guaranteed, if you finish prestige mode, guaranteed 2 Masterworks or something like that, maybe, or complete a Nightfall, or I don't know, whatever it is, just something end game activity to ensure you're going to get a Masterwork. I think would be a cool way to do it, even if it's one event, or maybe you could have one end game activity a week.
Well, they've addressed that in the raid, Mark.
Well, they also did. They mentioned briefly in the development plan they're working on some like clear set paths to get Masterworks. Yeah. So it's not just. Yeah, I mean that's what we need. I think that's one thing, because it's cool to get them randomly, but then it's like, well, if I'm just kind of aimlessly playing matches and I'm not working towards that, because it's great to be able to craft your own, if you want to say, by using the Masterwork cores, but you got to get the drops to get the cores, and it's like I'm not getting enough drops to get that. So. Yeah, exactly.
So what are you leading us into something to do with the raid, Mark?
Let's talk about the raid. We have info, guys, now on the raid armor and the perks that are coming to this. So we'll read it just a little bit. This was a couple of comments here. He says, raiding is one of Destiny 2's ultimate endgame experiences. So far, you've explored the mysteries of the Leviathan and dove even deeper into its first layer, the Eater of Worlds. We've received feedback while the experiences were epic. The rewards could use some more love.
So that was done by Cosmo, and then he sends it over to senior designer Daniel Oshpog.
Senior designer Daniel Ockenpaw.
Yep.
And he says, with the upcoming January patch, we're making a number of changes to the way raid rewards work. We've been hearing the current system doesn't feel exciting when you kill bosses. The tokens are interesting enough that you want more deep chase items to hunt down, which obviously people have been clamoring for since day one.
Sure.
So we are getting, first of all, number one, double drops coming in this. So now you're going to get
prestige.
you clear the prestige, you're going to get your normal drop as well as the prestige drop, which is great.
I love how he said that, by the way. He said, or what that he was talking about? If you're clearing prestige now gives you prestige and normal drops. If you have the prowess to clear prestige, then you've proven yourself enough that we don't need to force you to go back and do normal as well. So it's just common sense shit.
Yeah, right.
It's great. Yeah, it's really good.
So the raid armor perks, it says the raid armor now is going to drop with perks that function on the Leviathan, which is what we've been clamoring for. Give us the gear to use there. He says these appear on mods that are selectable on both new drops and existing raid armor pieces you may already have in your inventory, which is pretty awesome, man. So they're going to go back. So maybe you were that person that only ran Leviathan once, and you just kind of got your drops from your clan. Now that the gear that you have, you're potentially going to have some mods in there with those perks. He says, additionally, these mods are reusable. If you swap another one of these, you will always be able in the list to swap back to on your raid armor for the low price of 1 Callus token. So you are going to still have to get those tokens to be able to do that. But hey, if you're a raider and these mods are specifically for the raid, hey, it makes sense, right? You're going to be getting tokens anyways.
Do you know how many tokens I have right now? I have like 1,500.
You have 9. You have 9.
So safe to say.
He says if someone wants to take a -5 power penalty if they remove the legendary shard in the raid, the raids are all legendary by default. And he said this should be the extra icing on the cake. So, boys, we got some raid perks.
It was plus 25. The one for the hunter, it was you could change by element, right? It was arc, solar, or void, and it was plus 25% ability damage, right? First thing that popped into my head, we see a hunter cloak with that. Celestial Nighthawk with golden gun for doing DPS on Callus or the World Eater. I mean, that's gonna come in extremely handy when we ever get Prestige Raid Lair, which Christopher Barrett said it is coming. We just don't know when yet, but it is going to be coming. But yeah, I mean, like, let's say we take Stormcaller, right? And I put on a class item mod that gives me 25% more arc damage. I mean, arc grenades, they nerfed them a little bit. This is going to bring them back up and become very effective when I'm doing the bathers or the royal pools or dogs for that matter. Striker Titans too. You have 2 grenades.
You know how many dogs I accidentally killed with my grenade?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
you just a Striker Titan. If you get plus 25% damage and you get like a 60 stack, you literally can throw 2 grenades on the dog and just sit there and just do an emote or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
do your selfie.
Yeah. And we don't know what the other perks are for the gloves. And all that sort of, like, they're just teasing us right now. But they did say they're not going to be like specific perks, meaning like I think bonus damage to Cabal Legionnaires or like science. They're all going to have something to do with the Leviathan and something to do with making us more powerful. And that's, hey, I'm all for that.
Yep. Now the cool thing that I really liked is, and I don't know, you didn't really get to this yet, Mark, but so we won exclusive stuff from the raid, right? And one of the big things that you chased down, Sean, was Nano Phoenix.
Yep.
And they said we don't want to have another Nano Phoenix issue, but they're having a raid ghost, an exotic raid ghost, the Contender's Shell, right?
Yep.
And I think this is a really cool, although neither Sean and I don't really like the look of it. We don't like the puffy look of it.
No,
it is kind of weird.
Whatever, but it's kind of, the coloring is kind of cool and whatever, but it gives you perks that are pretty neat. And the Seeker of Brilliance perk enables the chance for encounters to drop bright engrams from their loot pools. Now, the cool thing about that is it then ramps up so if you went through the encounter and you didn't get something, so every time one doesn't drop a bright engram, they increase the chance for the next and the next and the next.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get to, it says, well, the Seeker of Opulence means those exotics have a 50% chance to pull from a list of exotics you haven't collected yet.
It's ones you haven't collected yet, too, man, which is even better.
It's like a double whammy. So not only are you going to get those, but you're going to get a chance for exotics. Like they're really up in the game as far as how the loot pool works and how drop rates work. And it's really, really cool. And it's not going to be dupes. There's going to be stuff you can equip right away, not angry. It's like there's really, really cool things how they're going about it. They've listened to the feedback that people get them, like, okay, great, I get this engram in this raid, I got to go back to Rahul, decrypt it, then maybe I can put it on. It's just so they're trying to give us quality of life in the raid along with the perks that we've been asking for. So I think it's look, they're looks good so far, man. I like it.
Plus, also, like that ghost shell is going to come in handy. Hardcores right now are going to be like, what am I going to do with this thing? I don't want bright engrams, and I have every exotic. Relax. This is going to come in handy when the next raid lair hits. We should be getting an expansion soon, and I really hope they reconsider adding more weapons to the Leviathan, because if we have a new raid lair that's going to come out in the next expansion,
they need to do
that needs to have an S ton of weapons, okay? Because right now the raid lair regular only has 2 weapons. I hope raid lair prestige right now they add at least 4 to 5 new weapons. A raid lair for the next expansion. I would love it for them to go back to the Leviathan and have new weapons. I feel like out of the Leviathan, the only cool weapon, and it's not even that it's very useful, but it's a fun gun, is the Midnight Coup, because it's got Rampage and Owl on it. But I feel like the raid weapons that came with the base Leviathan could use, I don't know, they just don't have that, like,
yeah,
you know, like the Fatebringer, Outbreak Prime. What was that one auto rifle from Crotazen? I was the only one that
you know what they seem, Sean? They seem very sterile. It's the way they look.
Yeah.
You know, it's just they're all just white. And I mean, when you the first time you see them, you're like, wow, like this is kind of cool. But then afterwards, it's like, it's just boring. Like there's nothing really that stands out. Where those guns from Destiny 1, I mean, they were just epic. Every single gun just had flair to it, was powerful as hell. I mean, people chase those things.
Yep.
But real quick to get back to the contender shell, like, I think this is almost in a response to not only to give people something to chase, but it's like, okay, we understand bright engrams are a problem, and you guys don't want to get them all the time. So we're just going to say, hey, if you like to play end game content, not only are you going to get them from the XP, these things are just going to drop a lot. You know, if you're able to get this ghost, it's just going to be dropping. Like it's their way of putting something in the game to just kind of rain loot on people. And people in the chat, I can see, you know, we got a couple guys saying like, hey, I have everything. Like this means nothing to me. But you know, to some people, maybe
it means nothing now. But it means something because, like the WTF Game Nation guys that I play with, they raffle raids every night. They're playing with people who have never done it every night.
Right.
For them, it's going to benefit them. The people that are, you know, that have never done it before and then get that thing. But also for future expansions, I think.
Well, and then I mean, and what I was kind of going towards is like, you know, hey, Eververse isn't going away, right? So things that are going to drop in Eververse, rather than complain, I don't want to spend money on the game, I don't want to have to play a crap ton. Run the raid, run the end game raid. You're going to get more bright engrams. There's your answer. Play the game, and you're just going to do it. You don't have to spend money. Play the game. Run the raid. That's what they want you to do clearly now. Which is that the right answer? No, but it's an answer. And honestly, for me, it's somewhat acceptable because it's like, okay, well then they've given us a path saying, hey, run the raid. If you don't get one this time, you got a 50%, you know, to get an exotic and to get these bright engrams and that. I think it's a good somewhat answer to that per se.
Do you guys notice lately, ever since we got the development plan and ever since we got the last, like this week at Bungie, I don't really see anyone talking about Eververse anymore. It doesn't come up anymore.
Well, it's because they've nerfed the comment pool. And what I mean by that is they've put the rewards in
They're shifting things over to play the game to get those things. Yeah.
If you can now get everything by playing, you don't have anything to bitch about.
Exactly. Yeah. Another big point out with regards to the this week of Bungie, we got numbers. You know what I mean? Like the last few this week's of Bungie's or updates we get, there's not a lot of numbers in them. Here, okay, you know, 50% chance, 25% bonus damage rather than just extra damage to, you know, so like remember back in Destiny 1 it was bonus damage to Taken. All right, well how much is that bonus damage? Here we're getting numbers, and I think that was a lot of people were, you know, talking about that on Twitter and Reddit and things like that. Like don't tell us, okay, it's going to help you do this. Give us a number. Give us a percentage to it, you know? Mm-hmm. So that was pretty cool about this. I agree. This update.
And it's funny too, even when you follow everybody on Twitter now, like, you know, it's funny to see Deej's tweets and it's like, he's like, hey, this week at Bungie is coming out tomorrow. And he just breaks it down. Like, we're going to talk about this. Like, he's giving us a roadmap for the roadmap.
Yeah.
Like,
you know what's funny about it though?
So crazy, man. They're just totally jumping in. And
the funny thing about it though is Deej used to be the solo target. Mm-hmm. Occasionally somebody would go, okay, wait, Luke Smith, let's see if I can shoot a bullet his way. But now Deej has like a number of shields. So he's got Cosmo, he's got Christopher Barrett, he's got people that will go to bat for him on Twitter and in other places. It's not just him taking all the bullets, and he's got a little more adventurous with his commentary because of
well, it's funny, man. I mean, honestly, that's the way Bungie honestly has worked
Did you see him wreck?
I followed Bungie. Like Luke Smith used to be the Deej, you know, like that's what they've all done that. So Deej is just moving on, you know, and now you have Cosmo there. Dylan now is coming in. I mean, they had just recently a new job opening for a community manager. So somebody else very soon is probably going to be stepping into that role, and they're going to be the new target on Twitter. It's just the way that Bungie rolls. Yeah, it always has rolled.
Yeah.
Let's talk about
Chris
the shader.
Has done a great job, by the way.
I
have to say he's been so open and honest, and answered so many people from Reddit to Twitter to you name it. He's done an amazing job. I just gotta give him props real quick. So
let's talk about the shader system. This obviously from day one was an issue for everyone. Like especially if you're coming from Destiny 1, it was like, wait a minute, I can only use these shaders one time. Well, of course they've listened to the feedback, and here is Tyson Green talking about why you can't just dismantle a whole stack of shaders and some other things. He says, shaders are individual items, and individual items trigger individual reward bundles when dismantled, even when those rewards are simple. That creates a challenge for us that we haven't yet addressed, which is triggering dozens or hundreds of reward bundles simultaneously when an entire stack of shaders is dismantled.
Again, transparency.
Yep. This is challenging, not simply because an arbitrary number of rewards needs to be run and delivered simultaneously, but because we also have to safeguard against scenarios where this produced items that couldn't fit in your inventory, which could be instantly lost. So you would just lose tons of shaders. So that's part of the reason why you're kind of on the back end.
Or Glimmer or whatever they want to.
Yeah, whatever it was, right? So he says, we're looking at how to address this. He says, we know you missed the D1 shader mechanics. We're looking at ways to reintegrate that capability without losing the ability to shade weapons, ghost ship sparrows, or customize specific pieces of armor. We also understand you want shaders to be more freely usable and not limited by availability. We're looking at reintroducing shader collections, or a way to get copies of a shader in your possession. Yep. So, no fix yet, but
that's a great explanation, because like we all think we're developers, right? We all think you flip the switch and now we dismantle all the shaders. But it goes back. I tell anyone, if you want to know how their process works, go listen to the last Bungie podcast. It's available on iTunes, where Mark Noseworthy takes you through when an issue hits, the process of from diagnosis. Okay, how severe is the problem? Then from there, what's to fix? Is it just a switch they can do, or is it involve a lot of coding? And then from there, then it has to be play tested for a while. Then from there, then set to deployment. So a lot of these things that we think are easy, not as developers or coders, they're not that easy. And this case in point, they're explaining right now how the shader system is, and they're individual items, and that's what triggers individual reward bundles when dismantled. So that's why we can't do it right now.
And the funny thing about it, Sean, is most people, I would say 90% of people would go, who cares, man, if they get a little bit of glimmer or whatever, just I want them gone. But you know what? There's going to be those 10 people that needed glimmer or were at a glimmer cap and didn't, they don't want to give away anything. And because they dismantled 100 shaders and they were at or near glimmer cap, they didn't get the glimmer or whatever it was that they might have gotten. They're going to yell and scream from the mountaintops that they got screwed dismantling their shaders. So they have to make sure that whatever decision that they make isn't ever going to have a negative consequence on the player. Because if it does at all, no matter how minute it is, it will become a huge deal. Yeah. And so that's why it's so difficult to do these silly little things like I want to delete shaders. Well, that's great. But it's like deleting a weapon. It's like deleting a whatever it is. Whatever the case may be, you might get something from dismantling something. And if it's an individual item, you're going to get an individual reward for that. And if you do them at a stack, it might take you somewhere that you can't recover. And that's no bueno. And people would bitch about it. So it's not as easy as you would think, as I just want to dismantle all 50 of these stupid shaders I hate.
Yeah.
Unless it was something like maybe they put up a thing saying, you're agreeing to dismantle these for 0 or something. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, are you sure you want to dismantle these? You're not going to receive any rewards for them. Something like that. Then you do it and you acknowledge it, and now that's gone. Maybe that's the answer. I don't know. Yeah. But if it's just something you just wanted out of your inventory versus taking the time to get the rewards for doing it, then it's one of those check with me deals. And okay, you say yes, never mind, I want it gone. Boom, gone. Right?
Yeah.
Yep. Let's see what else. Iron Banner is coming back, so this will be starting tomorrow. So Tuesday, January 30th. It's going all the way until Tuesday, February 6th. Control this time around. So Control is back. We're going to get the hand cannon, scout rifle, and shotgun as potential drops. And you can also buy these, right, from Saladin 2.
Yeah, you can buy the full armor sets too also.
Which is awesome. So they have the Sparrow, the Ghost, and the Emblem will also be available. And good news to some people, there's no limit to how many engrams you can acquire or how many tokens you can earn. So get as much playtime as you can during the week. You know, you can always move a little bit closer to another engram. And then there's also the Season 2 ornaments that will be available for some challenges. Which, Sean, didn't you break down what the challenges were? I think your latest video, didn't you have that?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to pull them up exact, but I mean, they're out there. So if you're looking for
some of them were, one of them was melee and grenade kills. One of them, the helmet is going to be win 25 matches. That's going to be a grind, I think, especially Iron Banner gets sweaty. What else was there? There was orbs. I'd have to go back and take a look, actually. But
they're out there, you know.
Well,
so,
you know what? If you have Iron Banner gear right now, go to the piece of armor and it'll have the ornament, and you could actually go right over it. That's how I figured it out. Because my Huntress, she got real lucky that first Iron Banner, got the full set. And if I just scroll over her each piece of armor, it shows the actual thing. Oh, the class item is just turn in 5 engrams. You know what I mean? So, yeah. One of them is one of them is complete XYZ milestones, and it has a percentage. Because remember, we're gonna get daily milestones for every day for Iron Banner, whether it's kills, wins, supers, all that sort of stuff. You know, cool. And thank God it's Control and not Clash. I'm the only person that doesn't like Clash.
So the question for you, Shawnee, since I think we both agree on this. So we've seen the weapons that are coming in this Iron Banner, and we know the weapons that are coming in the next Iron Banner. Yeah, which are the ones that we really want.
Yeah,
right?
the auto
like pulse, right?
Come on, bro.
With under pressure and outlaw.
Yeah, I know, man. So I'm like, so is this going to be one of those? All right, we're experimenting and just to see how the game feels now, and if it feels at least good, next Iron Banner is going to be bananas. Or, you know, what do you kind of think of this? Because I think I want that auto rifle. I know you want that little PDX looking thing, which I do too. But the auto, man, I want that thing. So
yeah, because that's, you know what it is? It looks like a Scathe but it's a 450 round per minute auto. So it's more like an origin story. I'm so used to those auto rifles right now. Yep. Like I said, with the raid perks, everything right now is testing the waters, you know, and everyone, you know, I saw 1 or 2 people on Twitter saying they should have done this from the start. Like, you know what? Just move on. You know what I mean? Like, hindsight is 2020,
right?
They're testing the waters to see what the community likes and doesn't like, you know, and they keep encouraging us to make suggestions. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You know, like when Christopher Barrett tweeted out, "What do you want to see us change in trials?" There he is saying, "Tell me what you guys don't like or like about trials." You know?
Mm-hmm. So I think it's gonna be interesting to see, man, how it plays out this time, and I'm more interested in to see how many people come back to play. Yeah, you know, because hey, I'll be honest, man. Like, to me, it looks exciting. Like, I want to play it again. I'm excited to play again. Those ornaments look sweet, man. The Titan one, I love it. So,
and I love Iron Banner because it's always chaos because the lobbies are full. You know, you're running against stacked teams. Sometimes if you're running stacked and then you run against a team of blueberries, you know what I mean? I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I think, and Control, I think, is the perfect mode, you know, to have for.
Do you think when we get 6v6 back, they're gonna go 6v6 Iron Banner?
I sure as heck hope so, man.
I do too, man. That's the only thing that I miss, man. Like, because part of Iron Banner, even though, you know, it kind of had this aura of being competitive. Some of my favorite memories were just getting in a group of 5 of our clanmates, 5 of our best buds, and just playing Iron Banner for like 2 or 3 hours. Not really caring if we're winning. You're just playing because you know you're making progress regardless. Getting your, you know, back then we're getting our medallions, and eventually you're going to get that win and just cash them all in, and you're fine. Like, that's what I miss about Iron Banner. So I hope they go back to the 6v6 once that comes in. Just make it. Make that Iron Banner.
The funny thing is about Iron Banners, everyone was complaining the first Iron Banner or 2. I can't get the full armor set. Well, in Destiny 1, every Iron Banner, you were only able to get 2, maybe 3 pieces of armor, correct? Right? Yeah. Lady Aphrodite was either selling the helmet and gloves, and then they could drop post-match. And the first Iron Banner, everyone wants the entire set. Well, now everyone has a chance to. But I think to get all the ornaments, that's going to be a grind. So, like, for myself, I see myself playing on my Huntress and my Warlock. Depends, you know, like depends, because I have like my shout out to Versace Viper and C Minnow. Those are my Crucible buddies, you know, so we'll be playing stuff at night. But I think that's a grind to get all the ornaments for one. I don't think I could do all 3 characters to get every ornament.
Yeah,
one Iron Banner. No way. I'll probably do maybe 1.5 characters. I think, because I got the raids. Like now doing prestige mode, doing Argos and everything. So I think it's gonna be fun.
Yeah. Let's shift gears away a little bit from the update, because I mean that's pretty much everything that was in the update, and shift gears to the webcomic. This is something we haven't talked about yet on the show. Our first Fall of Osiris comic that came out.
So cool.
The second one is coming out this week, and so I think next week on the show we'll talk about both issues. I mean they're pretty short. I know I kind of scrolled through the first one. I think it's only like 10 pages. Yeah, so we're gonna dive into that. Look for that this week, guys. When the second one drops, the animation is just awesome. That's in there. And I'm going to right now here live on the air. I'm gonna task Slade Steel Soul in our chat. He's one of the writers for my comic website, thecomicpanel.com. Quick plug there. I'm going to task him with writing a review for it. So you'll be able to find that review exclusively on thecomicpanel.com when Slade gets on that this week. So Slade, I expect it to be done by next week. So I'm sure he'll have it. But and of course, here on the show, we're definitely going to be talking about it. One other thing, too, I want to talk about before we move on to some of these Christopher Barrett tweets. And somebody reminded me here in the chat when I first saw it. Is that, have you guys seen this competition that Rockstar is doing with the Crucible?
Oh, yeah.
A little bit of competition, right? I mean, we're back to them doing something crazy again. If you're not familiar with this, it is the Rockstar Energy Crucible Challenge. And you have now 41 days, 42 minutes, and 17 seconds to just play the Crucible. You have to sign up for this challenge, and every match you complete, you get 25 points. Every quick play match, 25 points. Or I'm sorry, competitive or quick play, you get 25-1. And for every opponent defeated, you get 1 point. And they have a leaderboard. So there's actually now true leaderboards in a competition in Destiny 2. And the top 10 people are going to score amazing prizes.
Amazing.
Destiny,
Can't you win a motorcycle
Alienware weapons, and a collector's edition of the game, which is pretty crazy, man. I think that they're doing that. So, hey, I mean, it's probably too late now. I mean, these guys are, I think the number one person has like 22,000 points. Yeah. So if you're just hearing this now, it's probably too late to score one of those. But I thought it was just interesting that they're doing that. We've said before here on the show, you need to be following Christopher Barrett on Twitter.
Yeah.
And this week, a lot kind of came out. I think he was just asked the simple question of, is anything like Archon Forge going to be coming back? And all he
Court of ORYX.
Or Court of ORYX. And his simple answer was yes. Just yes.
So I think fantastic. Throw that into an expansion. Well, like what I was thinking back when Taken King came out and when Rise of Iron came out, they were two just fun areas of just another activity if you got bored with doing something else. Doing some PvP, okay, now I'm going to grind over some strikes, going to do the raid. I just want some mindless fun. You know what, guys? Let's go to the Forge. You know what I mean? Let's see who shows up with a perfected...
yes.
What were those things called that you actually put in? Perfected? There was perfected...
Yeah, a key. It was...
it wasn't the core, but it was like, you kind of slam it down in there.
Well, they had different. Okay, so the runes were the one for the Court of ORYX, right? You had.
I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about the Court of ORYX, man. I'm sorry.
No, the Forge.
The runes were Court of ORYX. What was the things for Archon's?
I'll be honest, man. I did not spend a lot of time in Archon's Forge, man.
I did. I
wish I should have, but I just didn't.
We did because that's where you got a ghost shell. You can get yourself a 400 ghost shell, or you can get yourself a. I'm looking it up right now. Either a ghost shell and class item. Oh, an artifact too. That was a big thing, too, because we would just farm it over and over. And I'm looking at my inventories right now. All right, I've got it perfected.
What's up, Magwell?
Where is it called? No, that's a SIVA cache key.
Perfected offering.
That's right, the offering. That's right. Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, okay, so they had Splicer keys. Yeah, there was just a lot of different things that they had in good old D1. So, yeah, so any type of like horde mode that you just want to go in, shoot things, make it more difficult, and have some unique, like throw in some unique rewards, throw in an armor set, throw in some weapons, I'm predicting the next DLC is going to be based around the Fallen SIVA. I would love to have some sort of, maybe it's an Archon's Forge 2.0 where they set something up, it would tie in almost, because SIVA was all about Rise of Iron. Archon's Forge was part of Rise of Iron. If Gods of Mars is going to be about SIVA Fallen, give us Archon's Forge 2.0, Just throw it right in the middle of a patrol area. People could just stop by.
The fun thing about the Forge was that it was chaos, but it was kind of like controlled chaos. Like you knew the I'm going to call it a map. You knew the map. You knew if you got to know each encounter based upon which offering you're putting in. If you were with a group of people that knew the encounter, it didn't really matter how difficult it was, you were going to succeed. But if you didn't know, holy hell, was it mayhem, right?
Yeah,
it was just like, where do I go? Where do I hide? Oh my God.
Especially remember when they nerfed the one with the shanks?
Yeah,
they nerfed the one with the shanks because it was 3 yellow bar shanks came out.
Yeah,
there was solar shield, and they were impossible to kill. They actually they took their health down, I think. But then they brought back the Iron Gallahorn. So all you see in Archon's Forge back then was and this Gallahorn going off like crazy, you know?
Yep. Even ORYX, man. I love ORYX with the mini Crota. And the music kicks in, man. I know, Sean. I know that's right up your alley, dude.
That's my favorite. That's where I recorded the music for my outro because I couldn't find it anywhere.
When the Crota music cuts in the Court of ORYX when you're doing the mini ORYX.
Yeah, Sean's saying it's his outro for his videos.
No, it's amazing.
And also, you show up to the Court of ORYX, and then you realize who never did Crota's End.
Yes.
Because he would show up, there'd be a bunch of blueberries. The fanatic of Crota would come out, and they're all shooting him. The guy grabs a sword, just runs up and starts hitting him, gets wiped, slammed on the floor. Like, no, we have to take his shield down
first, man.
Or so many times I'd grab the sword, and I'd be kind of inching towards him. I'm like, all right,
shoot him.
Shoot his shield down, please. So I can do some damage here, Yeah, any type of horde mode activity, plop it right into a patrol space or something.
Well, it's almost like like a boss rush. Like that is always cool in games, where it's just like random bosses, like mini bosses that come out, and you can just fight them and then get good rewards for it. Give us a path to give us some carrots to get from it.
The cool thing about ORYX was the Court of ORYX is that it was what did each encounter take? 30, 45 seconds, a minute?
Yeah,
once we're a little bit higher level, but you got like what 3 or 4 minutes, right?
Yeah, but it was fun. You got to go get whatever the reward was, and then go back and put another key in, and it was just a cool little fun encounter that took like no time, and it was just awesome. It was fun.
Yep.
Because you would have to go charge your different runes. Like you'd have to complete 3 of the basic ones to charge up the middle one, then do a few of those to charge up.
In theory, I almost wonder if their mindset and why we don't have it yet or didn't have it at launch was that the public events we're going to play that role. And maybe especially when you get up to a heroic, public event. And, in the end, it just doesn't feel the same, just wandering kind of throughout the world to kind of not because we don't really stumble into the public events, but you kind of come across and, there's some other people there. It's neat. But because they're so limited, I don't know. It just seems like there was something about the Court of ORYX where every time you put that rune in, everybody just kind of sat there like, which one is it? Which one is it? Which one is it? And then, it spawned in and everybody just knew what to do and would go out.
Yes.
I don't know. There was just something different about that.
It's the witches again. Damn it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I can't wait, man. To hear
do you remember the 2 Hive Knights that had shields, and unless you got them
they had to be close.
Had them too close together.
Yeah, they had to be close.
Yes. Oh my God.
Let's see. He asked for some thoughts on how to improve trials, so that was really cool to see him kind of out there asking people about trials. But then the other interesting thing, and this actually wasn't directly from him, this was from one of the writers over at Bungie, and then he actually chimed in a little bit. But the lore community, if there's any doubt that the lore community is rabid or exists for Destiny, I think this week can prove that yes, they're out there, and yes, they are a bit rabid, because a comment was made. Basically, someone asked, are the comics considered canon? And the answer given was basically, yes, everything in the comics are canon. Or I'm sorry, they asked, is the Grimoire and the comics like both considered canon? And the answer was comics are canon, but the Grimoire is somewhat folklore, and people in the universe of Destiny, it's either truth or not truth, but it's also, we are kind of the same way too of whether it's true or not. And so it was kind of very confusing, but in the end, they came out.
This is a simple answer though.
Yeah, it's just like
the Grimoire, when you read any of that stuff, is always coming from somebody's point of view.
Yeah,
it's coming from Saint 14, or it's coming from whoever it's coming from. It was a point of view of that person at the time, and that person's perception is their reality, but it may not be the reality. So that's why it's folklore. Whereas the comic would be actual lore,
right? Because
they're telling the actual story.
So people took this as them basically saying you're scrapping everything that happened in Destiny 1. No. It was clarified, because originally I was kind of like, wow, like that's pretty crazy. But then when I read the tweet and the way it ended, just saying like, no, it's from a different viewpoint. That's not what the intention was there. And believe me, if they wanted to scrap it, they would probably do like what Disney did with Star Wars and just flat out say everything prior to us purchasing Star Wars is not canon anymore. And Bungie's not going to do that. They've hired a whole writing team. So, I think they're going to try to work off a lot of the stories that are there and make sure that everything kind of makes sense. Clearly they're revisiting some of those stories with Saint 14. I mean, we see that in Curse of Osiris. So that's a character that's still there. Osiris himself is still a character, now. And so now they're going back and actually going to show us kind of the story, the fall of Osiris in these comics. So they're going to kind of, I think, weave in between the grimoire and still honor those people. Because, the first person I thought of, I'm like, if they're throwing all this away, Bife, like, your lore channel, like, what happens is that, what does that mean? Or
the lore channel.
Focus Fire Chat, like those dudes, like, what does that mean? Like, if all of that time, I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, Jay now has a whole, how long has Jay been podcasting with Focus Fire Chat? 2.5, 3 years? He gets to do it all over again, like just for everything again. But that's clearly not the way it is. But it was, I think it was really cool to see how passionate some people are about the lore community. And honestly, I say that, by only recognizing it here at GuardianCon last year, the panel that had, I think Jay was there, Bife, Mylan was up there, all the people up there. I mean, that panel was packed and they had a microphone set up and there were people coming up constantly on a constant stream asking
Mark, you and I sat in the back of that room just to watch. It was just
and I hate to admit it, man, I had no idea what they were talking about. Like, I have never gone that deep into Destiny's lore, and it was incredible to see that. So
the Book of Sorrows and this and that, I think the lore in Destiny 2 needs a revamp. It's great that they put it in the game, but like someone made a mock-up, and I think My Name is Bife did a video on it, where if you had it, leave it in the game. It's great that it's in the game, but to find the pieces, you got to find the piece of armor, whether it's an exotic or some of the raid stuff, and then you got to click on the lore tab. Have a kiosk or something, where we could just go in and everything that you collect goes in there, and then you could just sit there to your heart's content, read it all, like understand it, piece it all together. Because I personally never read it looking at my phone from Destiny 1 or looking on Bungie.net, but at the same time, if it was in the game at a kiosk and I was bored one night, I was like, oh, you know what, let me go read some lore or something. Or, while you're flying into a destination for a strike or something, put something on the screen where you could read something or check your...
honestly, you know what's sad, guys? Outside of the main story of Destiny, because obviously... we played it, so we know what's kind of happening in that game. I think I know more about the lore of Overwatch than I do of Destiny. And Overwatch is a multiplayer, like, team-based shooter, yet they put out multiple 5 to 6 minute, like, Pixar quality CGI videos that are explaining characters' backgrounds. They've been doing comics for a long time. I've read all those comics. So it's like, I think Bungie maybe is getting a little tip from Blizzard when they're like, hey man, like, why don't you guys do the comics? Like, it's easy, hire somebody to come in. You could do one once a month or once every few, and just start there and then start telling the stories. Like, where was the trailer that showed Zavala? Was that ever in Destiny 2? Remember they showed it at the D2 event. Didn't they show that trailer of Zavala and like him with the kids and that? Do you remember that trailer?
When he lost his light, when he had no light.
Where is that?
Yeah.
Why that should have been. I thought we were going to get like multiple trailers like that telling and building the story. That's honestly what they need to do and bring people in. And I think that would be a great, easy way. I say easy, of course. Those things probably cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? Yeah. But I think it's a great way to do that, to pull people in to the lore, because the lore, clearly, there's a passion for it out there, and it's epic from the way these people talk. But it's, I think probably 90% of players are just completely missing it, and I think that's sad.
Yep.
So, all right. Anything else news-wise? I think we're good on the news for this week, guys.
We're
going to skip the clan spotlight this week, just run a little bit short on time. So again, as always, if you want to have your clan spotlighted here on the show, email us feedback@theguardiansofdestiny.com. Honestly, is the best way. You can go fill out the form, but I think really just emailing us, just put clan spotlight in the subject line. And again, PC, PS4, Xbox One, we're looking for clans of all sizes, large, small. As long as you're looking to recruit, and if you're someone out there, maybe your clan disbanded, hey, we have clans for you here. You can go back listen to some of the old episodes. There's a clan.
And I want to something else.
I got a quick plug after that too.
Yeah, I would go onto our website and look under clans, and everybody that we've spotlighted, I'm telling you right now, go find a clan. They're there. Just go search on our website and look around. I mean, you'll find somebody. Trust me.
And if you're on PlayStation 4 and you need someone to play with, go to Facebook. I know I don't like Facebook, period, but look up Destiny PS4 Facebook group, right? We have 67,000 Guardians. That's how I meet people all the time. I don't go to Twitter anymore. I go to the Facebook community. My current raid crew, I met all from my Facebook community. You know what I mean? And that's the people. You know, everyone's like, my clan left and no one's playing. The game's dead. Join the Facebook community. Look at the feed. That game is clearly is not dead. It's nonstop people looking for gamers, you know, looking for raids, looking for Nightfalls, looking for PvP. People are looking to Sherpa, you know, like people through the raids, especially with the new raid rewards. Destiny PS4 Facebook community. I don't have one for Xbox. We wanted to keep it one platform because then we'll get the infighting between Xbox and PlayStation. But just search that Destiny PS4 Facebook community. 67,000 people. Join it, and you'll find people that still enjoy the game. You know what I mean?
Yep. There are ways to find other people for sure.
Yeah.
But all right, let's move on here to our final segment, part of the show where we get you involved, that we call Messages from the City. All right, don't forget you can email us feedback@theguardiansofdestiny.com, just like Phantom Flyer did. He said, hey guys, Phantom Flyer 09 here. So remember Arms Day in D1? Every Wednesday you had a Sean. You remember Arms Day, Sean?
Couple of videos, maybe one or two.
Man, I used to stay up till 8 o'clock every Wednesday morning, 8 a.m. in the morning to make those videos.
Ridiculous, man. He says every Wednesday you had a choice to pick weapons that could have some potential in either PvP or PvE. Well, the last week's episode, you talked about possible blueprints for mods or even weapons you may not have yet come from Banshee. While thinking of that concept, it dawned on me, and I remembered Arms Day. Don't you think that would be a good way to implement something like that? It doesn't have to be just blueprints or mods. He says, I've been having trouble getting my hands on the Antiope SMG, and I think it would be cool to integrate both weapons and mod blueprints. I feel that it could speak to both sides of the spectrum, the casual and the hardcore. He says, I'm a bit of both. So anyways, thanks, guys. Phantom out.
Love that idea.
Ready to do some weapon mod and
I would love to do it because right now I'm doing the Wednesday weapon refresh because every Wednesday, every destination and tower vendor, they sell one weapon. You know, There's not much to choose from, but I'm still going to do a video on that. Banshee is just a resource is waiting. They need to do something with him. They changed him a little bit. You know, like before he was selling some kinetic +5 mod. Kinetic attack mods, you know, so I bought a few of those, but he's right there, man. Like there's so much they could do with him from Phantom Flyer said, blueprints, you know, a weekly quest that if you go do XYZ, you can craft this mod to put on this gun, or if you do XYZ, you can craft this gun or something, you know. Banshee's there for a reason. They got to do more with him, man. And I would love to see either Arms Day come back just in its entirety, or just they need to involve Banshee more with letting us customize our weapons or mods that we put on our weapons.
I think it'd be great, man. I mean, and I'm almost wondering if we're going to start seeing that maybe once Mods 2.0 comes in. You know, like I think this is something that maybe they're going to kind of see, obviously, how the Masterwork perks work, and then the raid perks and things like that. And then, you know, maybe have it when Mods 2.0. Because when are we getting Mods 2.0? Was that March?
I think.
Is that a February thing?
Is that the February update?
I'd have to go look for that one. I think February.
The roadmap's there. It's out there. We can find it. But I think for me that I think is what is we're gonna see something like that, because you know to have all this whole new mod system come in and then not have a way to actually acquire those or the roadmap to find those things, I think would just be silly. So hopefully that'll be the way they do it. Let's see. Next email is from Holy Munzilla. And he says, first of all, go Eagles.
That's the reason I put this email in there.
He says, so finally.
He could have said anything after that, and I put it in.
Did you even read it? We didn't read it. Oh, yes, God. No, I did. He says, I know. He says, so I finally finished up the Eater of Worlds raid layer. Am I wrong in saying a lot of people are complaining about it? I thoroughly enjoyed the entire encounter. It's something I've been wanting in D2 for a while. Something intense and challenging, but doesn't take up my entire night to complete like the normal raid. Also, I now officially have every raid weapon, so I guess that's a small personal victory. Any ideas or rumors on what we can expect for the next raid layer? Are we thinking it will be more like Eaters of Worlds in terms of length encounters, or maybe something completely different? Holy Munzilla on PSN. I mean, I would assume that it's going to be very similar in terms of length and content, except I would hope that maybe they would give, maybe another boss or kind of what they're learning from the people want the drops from bosses. Although I guess would you dare to say that maybe it's already kind of plotted out? I mean, maybe they can't go in and suddenly throw in another boss, an extra boss or something like that. I don't know.
It's probably plotted out, but the bottom line is the feedback is the Argos fight is the best fight in the game right now. And it reminds us of the feeling and player experience from Axis challenge mode. It's call outs. It's running around. Everyone's got to carry their weight. And we always said an amazing Destiny 2 raid would have 3 to 4 of those encounters, It's probably already plotted out, but I would love to see if they could go back and somehow, because right now it's 3 encounters, but really one encounter, one little mini horde thing, you kill off a bunch of enemies. Taking the shield down is a fun experience, but I feel like we need to kill more bosses. We were talking about it today. The Leviathan is one big test with one big boss kill. We like to kill bosses. Right. King's Fall, you had the War Priest, you had Golgoroth.
I want it to take 5 hours, though, Shawnee.
That's true. All right, so we could have it like I feel like Crota's End is one of my favorite raids, but everyone feels it's too short. Wrath of the Machine.
Raid day is different. First time in, I get all that. But once we have it down, and we should be able to accomplish the goals with the team, it can't take that long.
The Leviathan is a time commitment for sure. I would like to see something like a Wrath of the Machine type length where it's to the point, it's got a few boss fights, and it's fun, It's probably already plotted out, but I'm hoping either A, they have a few more encounters in it, or they take the limited amount of encounters and make us fight things. Not just make it, like the jumping puzzle and stuff like that. Make it from the second you drop down, you're just in it and you're getting into fights,
Yeah. Yep. I mean, do we think, are we going to get to Callus at this point?
You know what? If it's going to follow the suit where, Curse of Osiris is based around the Vex, so inside the Leviathan, we're killing a big Vex, more than likely the boss is going to be related to whichever species we're fighting in.
Right, yeah.
Gods of Mars, which I'm predicting is going to be the SIVA Fallen. But I don't know. We'll see. Will we ever get the Callus? You know what I mean? Who knows? It all depends what the September, and we don't even know.
Yeah, that's kind of the weird thing about it, right? They're kind of going away from the direction that we're going with the Cabal. We're going to go into something that's more SIVA-fied. We've gone through Mercury and Osiris, so it kind of took a little veer off of that. But we've never really, have we ever really beat the Leviathan?
We never really killed Callus.
Not really. No. That's the point that I'm making. So I'm wondering if it makes this veer to go out to where we are with the Warmind and all these other things that we're going to go through. I think somehow, some way, it has to come back to the Leviathan.
What if they did this? So what if they did, how we used to get the April update the last 2 years of Destiny 2? Yeah. What if they went in and did a summer update where they changed up the Leviathan? So you proved your worth. Now Callus is ready for, for you to actually fight him.
Officially ready, yeah.
Because if we get a September expansion that has a full new content and everything, I want a brand new raid that has nothing to do with the Cabal.
Yeah, definitely.
I want brand new everything. Yep. I really hope they start introducing new species. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like the fact that we have to fight the Vex, the Fallen, the Hive, and all so forth because we're familiar with
somebody new to shoot in the face.
Give us something new.
Well, do you think they'll do that before? I don't think the spring is the darkness is coming, or the pyramid ships. I don't think that's coming. Honestly, I don't think we're getting the new species until then.
I agree.
Probably Destiny 3 if we're getting.
I mean, we may get a
no. I think there'll be an intro.
Dog style, like the Cabal dogs. We may get a new enemy, not necessarily species, but type. Maybe
there's going to be some sort of a tease before D3 that some sort of you'll see some new encounter or ship or something that's going to tease the hell out of it, and you're going to see some sort of another species. And I think that's what would lead into, and then how it goes. And in the summer, then maybe there's a little tease and there's a little thing that we get to go do or something. But I think absolutely you're right. I don't think anything's going to happen as far as actually getting to shoot a new enemy in the face until D3. But I think tease is hey, that's.
I have to go back and watch the ending cutscene from Destiny 2 because so we know Mars is definitely next because when you see how Luke Smith said that as the light, goes out, it's going to all the following destinations. So it went to Mercury right after that. And from there, it went to Mars. And you do see for a split second the icy caps of Mars. That's why everyone is saying that, that's what's going to be. I need to go back and watch the video. Maybe if anyone is in Twitch chat, what is after Mars? Where does the light go after Mars? I really would like to know after that.
You're talking about in that trailer?
Yeah. I have it somewhere.
Yeah, what does it show? I don't know.
Yeah, I have to go back and look. If someone in chat could look it up. No.
I don't remember either.
Well, we'll see. I mean, as of right now, I'm sure there's teases, and I'm sure some of the lore community could say, hey, we found this in certain pieces of armor and all that. But
we know we're going back to the Dreadnought. The Dreadnought's still up there.
That's right.
If you go look from, is it from Titan?
CJ Bulldogs put it in the chat. Yeah, everybody in the chat's going crazy. Dreadnought.
Dreadnought.
And to see and I'm not saying reskinned. Relax, folks. Not a reskinned Dreadnought. Just a different version of the Dreadnought, because there's the a few strikes and a few adventures where they talk about ORYX's sister, correct?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, there was. Yep.
It's not his daughter, so more than it would not surprise me. What if the next big expansion, not Gods of Mars, involves ORYX's sister?
That would be sick.
I'd love to go back to. I mean, can you imagine
Savathun.
the Dreadnought?
Yes, Savathun.
Totally,
there you go. That's the strike. Remember the Savathun song?
Yep.
Can you imagine going back to a new Dreadnought? Well, okay, no. You're going back to the Dreadnought, but it's completely different with the updated Destiny 2 graphics, right? And it's completely remapped. You know what I mean? Like, you don't even really, it's a different part, because Dreadnought's huge. We only got to see the landings on where the Cabal crashed their ship into it,
Right.
And the Dreadnought was the eeriest place we've ever experienced, because you go in there and there were chests and the chest of gnashing teeth, and you had to go get a something rune and then charge it up, and then you get there was so many secrets. Remember that one chest you had to go sit in a room and gain some sort of hive smell or something, and then you had to go run out.
Yes, you could see it coming out. And you had to jump way out. Yeah, man.
And then grab a chest. They need to throw a lot more secrets and stuff like that in there. And Christopher Barrett did say in some tweets a while back they want to add more things like Outbreak Prime. Well, not Outbreak Prime. Hold on, let me make sure I word it here. Things like Black Spindly type quests and stuff where we have to figure this stuff out,
Yep.
Let's see. We got one more email. This one comes to us from Big Head 53, and he
says, Big Head, what's up? He's drinking a Mountain Dew right now. A big giant Mountain Dew.
Boom.
Big Head.
He says, let me first say,
real quick. Do you get the reference?
Like a big gulp.
No, come on, man. Big Head. You guys don't know?
No.
What?
Silicon Valley, bro? Come on.
I don't watch it, bro. I told you, man.
I don't watch that stuff, man.
I know I need to. My brother-in-law is always on me to watch it, but no, I don't watch it. Let's see. He says, let me first say I'm a day one player of Destiny, and it's guys like you that are why I played in the first place. I'm not a casual player. I have thousands of hours in Destiny 1 and several hundred in D2, so I have so much love for this series. I had a clan in D1, but it fell apart as time went on, so I became a solo player and missed the community aspect, but I still play a lot. He says, I want to get back, or I want to get this back, but with the negativity, it's been difficult to attain this again. I think all the changes upcoming may remedy this, but I'm not overly optimistic, even though I want it to be. I have switched from console to PC, and this may have something to do with it, because its system is not easy to get together with others, but it is also great on the PC. Yeah. I want to thank you guys for not being the norm and bashing, but constructively discussing issues and how it can get better. Most of your ideas you have stated are things I think about and hope will be implemented, because to me, this is still the game to beat. Keep up the good work, and I look forward to hearing your show every week and your thoughts on how it is and will be. Thanks, Big Head 53. Well, Big Head, thanks so much, man, for sending that in.
Thank you, man.
And surprisingly, we got a lot of emails of people just commenting on the fact that that we're trying to. I don't even want to say trying to. That we just are staying positive in here. Again,
look, we're not blowing smoke up people's asses here. You know what I mean? We're being sorry, the New Yorker came out there. No, listen, we all want the game to be better, okay? But ragging on it and bashing people is not going to make it better. You know what I mean? We explain the things we like, and we explain the things we don't like. And
Sean, that's not in the spirit of this show. To me, it's this show was started by Bungie fans for the love of, number one, Bungie, and then hoping that we were going to love Destiny. Destiny came out, and we love it. We have fun playing it. This is a show for people who have fun playing Destiny. That's what
have fun playing video games in general.
Well, yeah, but in the end, it's like,
yes, we're a Destiny podcast. But the reality of it is, if you don't enjoy this game, dude, this ain't the place for you, man.
No.
It just is not. And it's cool if you don't. Everybody has the right to their own opinion. Go do something that makes you happy, man.
Don't come back when you do. I mean, that's to me, that's even how when I listen to game specific shows. Like, I'll listen to it when I'm playing the game. If I stop, I'll go 6 months of not listening to a show and then suddenly come back. Hell, this week, I was wondering what the hell was going on in the Halo universe. I listened to the first Podtacular episode I probably listened to since, like, Halo 5, like 3 months after Halo 5 launched. And I was like, oh, okay, kind of caught up with those guys. I was like, all right, that's cool. Like, so if you're not enjoying Destiny right now, rather than send the hate towards us or anybody who is being positive about it and say they're shills, just step away. Come back when you find the fun in it again.
Take a break and play something else and stuff. I mean, look, I play Destiny every single day, but like I always say, I play Battlefront 2 and I love World War 2. You know what I mean? Everyone's playing Monster Hunter, Monster Hunter and Fortnite. Look, those games don't interest me, but I'm not going around telling people you shouldn't play those games.
Right.
Play them. You know what? If it's good for you, look, if it's fun for you, we can coexist together. You know what I mean? It's okay for you to like that. And again, I don't like it. You know what I mean?
I don't want to.
I would rather have somebody come tell me why they like something that I have no idea about or understanding about, than they come and try and tell me something negative about something that I am passionate about. If you want to constructively say, hey, there's an issue with this, what do you think? Because I've seen this. That's different than just bashing. If you're really passionate about Monhun World, tell me what's great about it. I would so much rather have that conversation than you telling me why the game that I like sucks.
They should all just move to Vail, Colorado. That's what James Hetfield did. On the Joe Rogan podcast, he said he moved to Vail, Colorado, because he said people there are less obsessed with stopping what you're enjoying and more into what they're enjoying. So, like James is a big hunter and stuff. Not a lot of people where he, he's been in California, are into that. So he's like, people are like, oh, you like doing that? Ah, cool. How's that go for you? All right, well, I'm going to go do my thing over here. Peace. You know what I mean? Like, people just need to, at the end of the day, just care about yourself and what you're into, and surround yourself with people that are into the same thing, that you are,
Yep. So Big Head, thanks for sending that in, man. And again, I don't want to go down that path again, because again, we're literally going right there. I mean, I think, Sean, you've shared that story the last 4 episodes, but it stays true. But it's true, right?
Yeah,
and
I know.
I just want to say, we are just having fun with the game and finding the fun in the game. I mean, Sean, you've said it before. You live your life with the glass half full, as many of us do. And I think people that are still continuing to enjoy the game, that's probably the way they live their lives too, because it's a fun video game, man. And so, I appreciate everybody here who's continued to listen to the show, because of course, and we're not the only ones. I mean, you can go watch any of the big Twitch streamers, YouTubers out there. I mean, they'll tell you the Destiny content numbers have fallen off. We see it, but you know what? We still have more than enough people here. There's people in the chat, having fun with the game. We're still getting tons of emails every week from people having fun with the game. So
yes.
If you're having fun, just continue to do that and embrace it, and things are going to.
Let's go along the ride, man. Let's just go along the ride.
Caleb, how we did Paragon Radio for what, a year and a half. Which let me pour one out for Paragon now. We're not even going to talk about that here right now, but like that was a game that went through so many ups and downs. But the most fun was being there for the ride. Like, that game changed so many times throughout the years, and that's what was great. And like, if you don't want to be here for the ride of Destiny 2, step away and come back. You can always. I think
my T-shirt has more value now.
It does. It totally does.
It's
a collector's item now.
It is. That logo made by our good buddy Lace.
But email us, guys. feedback@theguardiansofdestiny.com. Please, we want your feedback. And again, we need your continued topics here to keep the show moving forward. Looking forward to next week. Monday, we're definitely good to go. We'll be playing Monday, or doing the show Monday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. We'll be talking about the comic book, Follow Osiris, giving some Iron Banner feedback. We will all be playing this week, so we'll be able to give you some feedback there. And Sean, I don't know if I'm going to be able to dive into the raid that much this week, but I know you'll be.
I'll be in it all week, man.
For sure. Yeah.
All week, raid and raid lair, because the raid lair thing's going to give drops too, man.
You know what's funny? I'm jumping into the banana, dude. I'm jumping into the banana right off the bat. That's kind of where I'm going. I really am. I'm looking forward to see how, if it feels any different, if they've made any changes as far as, how that gameplay goes. It's just going to be interesting to see how rewards are dropping, how, all of that, how tokens work and purchasing things from different people. I'm really looking forward to see how they take the first Iron Banner that you didn't have to be a purchaser of the DLC. So it's going to be interesting to see how it works. I'm interested.
Yeah.
Really, yeah.
Sure.
All right. Well, let's wrap it up there, guys. Again, thank you everybody here for tuning in. Everybody over on Twitch, twitch.tv/Guardian Radio, on the YouTube channel, Sean's channel, youtube.com/Mesa Sean. And again, Sean will be streaming all week with the raids. Check him there pretty much right at reset. Email us feedback at theguardiansofdestiny.com. Follow us on Twitter at GuardiansofD. And again, like I said at the top of the show, if you do want to help support the podcast, you can find that link in the show notes or over on our website. And again, appreciate all the support you guys give us and just the support of continuing to listen to the show. I mean, that's been fantastic to see you guys still here and everybody still listening. So Absolutely. Any final words you guys want to throw out here at the end? Super Bowl predictions? The only one I want, Sean. All I want is Sean's. It's the Eagles versus Patriots. Who's winning?
Tony Ferguson is going to beat Khabib in Brooklyn in April. That's all I'm concerned with right now. Tony Ferguson. Let's go, Tony,
man. Does he have an eagle tattoo? Is he?
Oh, he's got huge wings.
There it is.
His back is tattooed wings. Yeah.
There it is.
Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson followed me on Twitter. I fanboyed out like you had no idea.
Awesome
on Twitter. And like I felt like sending him a direct message, like, but I was like, let me not be that. I think a week before the fight, I'm going to say, hey, Tony, we're really pulling from you, man. Beat Khabib, and then you could fight Conor McNuggets right after. Because that's what he calls Conor McNuggets, and he does hashtag defend or vacate, because we don't want Conor to come back and fight somebody already.
I've got 24-20 Eagles.
Wow, that close, huh?
You got
I don't know, man. Something's just telling me that as much as I want the Eagles to win, being a guy from New York, Yankee fan, I can't root for anything that have anything to do with Boston or any of that crap. And there was a time early on in Brady's career that I was kind of rooting for him. I will admit that he is possibly the GOAT. I mean, the guy is incredible with what he does. But man, I'm rooting so hard against him, dude. And I don't know if they're going to pull it off. I don't know if the Eagles are going to pull it off. I can't even give a score, man. I don't even want to do it.
Come on, you have to give a prediction. Prediction.
I think the Pats are going to win, bro.
What's the score?
I think they're going to win big. I think they're going to win like 35-9.
Oh, you're out of your mind. They're not scoring 35 on Philly.
Giving it. Throwing it out there. I know. It's terrible, but I think it could be.
I think it's more. It would be more likely that it's 35-9 the other direction.
Really?
That's how confident I am.
I hope. I'm hoping, man.
Yeah.
But all right, guys. Well, let's wrap it up there again, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. However you're tuning in, whether it's on Twitch, on YouTube, on iTunes, whatever your podcast service of choice is. Thank you so much. And with that, we'll catch you next week.
Later.